So one thing you might do more often is clean the other side of the case. The ventilation slots, as you saw, can also be cleaned from the outside, but also occasionally from the inside. Not all of them have a fan, some are just there. And that's an important step to keep your computer cool. So one rule, today you should remember a few things. One, liquid and electrical circuits don't mix. And two, computers like to be cool. Anything you can do to keep them cold, do. So in particular, you could use a slightly damp. So don't take your Wester and put it in water, but put a little water on it, just a little damp. Make sure it's lint-free, and then you can wipe the whole thing. If there are some stains or things that are not coming off easily, you can use a bit of like a soap or just make sure it doesn't get in the computer. You just put it on the cloth a little bit, and you use that to clean it. We'll use it in a few. We'll get to it in a few minutes. So a few other things. Make sure that all the vents and air holes are free of air and lint and other particles by rubbing the cloth over it. You can also take a portable vacuum, if you have one. Handheld, battery operated. It's not one that you plug in. So, liquids and electrical circuits don't mix. Other electrical things and computers also do. So you can use the vacuum around the outside parts of the computer. And I guess you can use a standard vacuum on the outside fence, but not in your inside. And then you can always, these are, when you get the slides, this will be shared. These are links you can also look up online. Something I was going to say, I didn't mention this when I did it, but when you open a computer and you're going to repair something or clean something, you can be carrying static electricity. What is it? We all carry sometimes static electricity, and we don't know. You only find out when. So when you open a computer, before you touch anything inside, make sure you touch the metal case. This case is made of metal. So I touch the metal first, and then I go unplug the cable or do what I need to do. But I always do that first, so that if I'm carrying any static electricity, it goes into the case and not into the electrical circuit. That's another important. When you're opening a computer, before you touch things inside, here, take things out, touch the case, the metal first. Why? So you don't, if you're carrying static electricity, you carry it with you. I can be walking around and I don't feel it, but I'm carrying some electricity. And then when I go to touch the metal, I feel that shock. So if I'm walking around and I'm carrying that, and I go in here and I touch this, but now the electricity went into the circuit, and it can damage the circuit. I don't want to damage the circuit. So instead of having my electricity go in the circuit, I put it in a metal case, which is paper. I'm not going to damage the case. Now that I don't have any electricity, now I can go touch the sensor. So Next up, CD-ROM, DVD drive. This is what it looks like when you pull it out. So we're not going to do it here. But I could unscrew the three screws here, take out this box, and what I would pull out, what I would be left with is something like this. The box that has some circuits inside. It has a tray that pops out where you put the disc. And it has places on the back for connecting the cables for power and for data. Now, we don't use these as much anymore, but we still find them. And if they're dirty, then they're like physically dirty. They're not going to read the disc. So we also want to clean these fuses. And for this, we recommend you get actual CD-ROM clean on this. So inside of this box is a laser. You know what is a laser? Yes. So that laser is what reads the disc. And if the laser, there's some dust or things around, then the laser won't be able to read that. So we want to make sure it closes. So again, you can use a cloth dampened with water, a tiny bit of water, on the cloth. And you can clean the tray. So the tray is just a plastic part here that holds the disc. So when you pop it out, and you take off the disc, you can clean that. Because there's no electric circuit in the tray. The tray is just a mechanical thing that moves it in. Just make sure that it's completely dry before you put it back in. Because if it's back in, then it can't dry very well. And if moisture, as it dries, the moisture goes in the air that is inside of that box. And the moisture in the air, and then damages it. Make sure that you pull out the tray and wipe it, let it dry first, then put it in. You can also clean the discs themselves. These things. Now, this is a funny thing about discs. When you're washing plates at home, right? How do you wash a plate? Everybody do. Pretend you're washing a plate right now. That's you hold the plate. What do? You pick up a plate, you pick up your sponge or your whatever. What do you do with your hands? Everybody pick up a plate. I want to see you pick up a plate. Everybody pick up a plate. I'm not kidding. Pick up a plate. Okay, you're holding a plate in your hand. You pick up a sponge or whatever. Now what do you do? What do your hands do? How many of us do this? We go around. It's natural, yeah. The plate is round, so I wash it around. Makes sense, right? So let's do the same thing with the disc, right? It's round, so I'm going to wipe it like this. Yes? That's what we would think to do. But no. That is not how we clean these things. If you go around the disc like that, you are more likely to damage it. So actually with this, what you want to do is you hold the disc, it fits in your hand, right? You hold the disc, and you pull from the middle to the edge. You go all the way around, from the middle to the edge. Straight line. You don't go around. The reason you don't go around, I think, you can check, is if there's a little tiny particle, right? And if your cloth picks up the particle and now it's moving it against the disc, it's scratching. What you don't want to do is scratch it. That's the worst thing you can do. When you go around and around, what are you doing? You take a particle here and you scratch, 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 scratch. Now you have a very damaged disc. But if you just go straight up, then you might get a little scratch, but it'll just, and then it's gone. You actually get it off of the piece. So when you're cleaning this, always from the inside out, in a straight line, never the line. It feels weird, but it's actually safe. For this, are these electrical? Are there electrical circuits in the system? TV or DVD? Ask your neighbor. Is there anything electrical in these discs? No? I have one no. How about in the back? Is there anything electrical in these discs? No? Your friend says no? The DJ says no? Okay. Michael? No? You think no or you're sure no? He says no. Okay. This one up. So what is our majority? Say no. No electrical something in these discs. These don't have anything electrical in them. Therefore, question, can you use liquid cleaning? No. No, yes, no. No, yes. Sure. Can you use water? Yeah. You can use wood with water. Are we together or are we? I hear more voices. Is there something you want to say? So you wouldn't put this in water. You wouldn't take a soaking wet but you can put a bit of water, give me that, to use, not quite like this, to like this. Okay. You can also buy special cleaners for CDs and DVDs, but you don't really need them. Okay, next. Hard drive. Should you clean your hard drive? No. You do not clean a hard drive. For one thing, so what part of the computer is the hard drive? What is the hard drive? What does it do? What does the hard drive do? What is it for? Storage. Okay. And do you remember where it is in the computer? Who can point where it is? That's right. This one. Right? This is an enclosed box. It's very hard for anything to get inside. So one, it doesn't really get dirty. But two, it's very sensitive. if you try to clean it, you will probably damage it instead of. Okay. So we don't physically clean hard drives, but we use software. What we said at the beginning, you can defragment, you can optimize where the data is stored on the drive. So that's not something you do physically. That's something you go in the operating system, software, and you say, please now defragment my hard drive, and it will work for usually some hours, moving things around. Think of like a warehouse, yeah, or a storage space. And you put some boxes, and, you buy things, you put chairs, and tables, and books, and people buy some, and you get more orders, and okay, more books came, put the books over here. Somebody returned a chair, put the chair there. After a while, things are all over the place. Yeah? Your warehouse is not organized anymore. So every so often you say, okay, everybody, we're going to do a big cleanup. I want all the chairs here, and all the tables here, and all the books here. So now everybody has to move things, and keep this one, and move that there, and put it, right? That's what you're doing with the hard drive, which is data on the hard drive. You're saying, the chair part of the data needs to be over here. The table part of the data needs to be over here, on the physical drive. That's what optimizing a hard drive is doing. And it takes time. Just like it would take time for people to optimize work. You have to move things around. And that keeps the hard drive working well. When you have a well-organized warehouse, it's easy to find things very quick. Same thing with computers. Next, keyboards. Now we use the keyboard. Should it open? Should it open? Remember the screw. This is the we're always learning things. So, is this an electrical circuit? Yes. You sure? Yeah. It's plastic. Yeah. What are these? Rubbers. Little rubbers. And they go behind each of the keys. This is, by the way, what does this rubber do? What is its function? It brings the button back. So when you have a button that is going down but not coming up, the problem is with this. On some keyboards, instead of this, they have a little spring, like a little metal spring mechanism, and that also can get either damaged or fatigued. It gets tired after many years of use, and it doesn't work as well. So you can change them. You can open a keyboard and you can change these things. So now we have a fun activity. Somebody can put all of these back. Ready? So what happens when you press a key? So again, at the end we can come around and you can try. When you press the key, there's just a piece of plastic that comes out. So what it does is this is actually 2 layers. So it presses the 2 layers together, which allows electricity to flow, and that's how the computer knows to press the key. There's a little chip here. See the little ring? That's the brain of the keyboard. So this takes all of this electrical circuit information and then sends it to the computer. This is the inside of the, by the way. When you're cleaning a keyboard, you can also remove the key. The cover of the key is just plastic, it's a hard plastic. You can pop it off. You want to be careful, but it usually comes off. You can use a screwdriver, or they have special tools also for taking off the key. And that way you can clean the actual, so like on this one, if you want to get behind the key, usually that's where hair, if you're eating, you find food, you find things, like that. So if you want to clean this stuff out, you could use a cotton swab, or you just grab it, if you want to get the key on. So the keyboard is usually where most things accumulate, right? Because it's like even your hair, the parts of dandruff, skin, dead skin, all of that falls in your keyboard. Pretty good. The keyboard can actually be quite full. Apparently, but what does this one say? What does this say? A keyboard may contain more bacteria than your toilet. If you think the toilet is dirty, your keyboard might be even more dirty. So cleaning it, one, it helps to ensure that you don't have so much bacteria going in there. But also, it helps to keep the keyboard working well. As with most things, when cleaning a keyboard, you want to turn off the computer or unplug it. Like in this case, if it's a wireless keyboard, turn off the wireless connection. Maybe even remove the battery, so you're sure that there's no electricity running in anything, and that makes it safer to clean. So as much as possible, when you're cleaning electronic equipment, whatever you can do to remove any electrical flow, so unplug it, take out the battery, it's safer. Next. So, one thing that we often do, maybe you've already done it, with the keyboard, when it's together, is we turn it upside down and we shake it. I can even do it with this one. I actually have a protector on my keyboard. So this is rubber. And it goes on top of my keyboard, and it prevents that things fall. It prevents that my hair and things fall into behind the keyboard. So one option is you can use a keyboard protector. So you can shake the keyboard. You can use compressed air. But remember the compressed air can that has a little red straw? That's a very good one. You get right under the key and you blow out all the dust and hair. Compressed air is good. And a vacuum cleaner can also work. Make sure that the keyboard is turned off. But then you can run the vacuum. Just make sure that none of the keys are loose. If there's a key that's coming off, then your vacuum will eat it. Cover this already? Yeah, you can disinfect the keyboard As always, don't spray right on it. Spray the cloth and then use the cloth. Let it go. If you really want to clean a keyboard deeply, if you want to do a deep clean of your keyboard, you can take all the keys off from the front, so like this. You can take off all the keys, then clean, and then put all the keys back in. I've never done it, but you can. If you spill something into your keyboard, this never happens, right? We will never spill anything on your keyboard. It happens. Coffee, water, juice, whatever. Juice is actually one of the worst things, because there's sugar in juice. When it dries, you get the sticky, right? These are sticky things. Same thing with Coca-Cola. Anything sweet is going to, or milk, sweet or milky, it will be harder to clean. But any liquid you spill on the keyboard, if you don't take care of it, it will probably either damage your keyboard or at least it will not perform as well. The keys will stick, it will click and nothing happens. So here are some suggestions for what you should do. First thing, turn it off. Unplug it, stop the electricity from it, right? With liquid, when you have the liquid, you want to turn off the electricity, however you can. So unplug it and you want to try and get the liquid out. And with keyboard, turning it upside down is, even with a laptop, is good, because for the liquid to come out the same way it came in means there's no circuit on the keys. Right? Let me see if I can talk about that. This is the escape key. I'll pass it around. You can see what the key is. So if the liquid came in here, I'm hearing a lot of discussion. I don't know if you're explaining something to your friend that's okay, but try to do it quietly so everyone else can still hear it. So if the liquid falls in here, this is just plastic. It's okay for the liquid to come out. But notice that this way the liquid flows around, yeah? It goes by. The back side is like a bowl. So when you turn it upside down, the liquid can also just collect inside the piece. It's not going to come out. So you have to kind of shake it out. So you'll get some liquid out, but not all of it, by turning it upside down. Pass it around, but make sure it comes back. But the other reason you do this, the other reason that we turn the keyboard upside down, right, is that the circuit, when you hold the keyboard in front of you, normally, the circuit is at the bottom. So if you spill liquid, if it wants to go down, it will find the circuit. If you turn the keyboard upside down, even if the liquid comes into the key, at least it's not in the electrical circuit. Right? So you just turn the keyboard upside down, leave it upside down. So you can, first thing, maybe shake it a bit, try to get some of the liquid out. Then use a cloth and wipe it. As much as possible, you can use a damp cloth, especially if it's, like I said, if it's juice, something sweet or milky, it will leave residue. You want to get rid of that. And then make sure it gets really dry. So like leave it overnight. So right now, if you spill something on your keyboard, you're done working for the day. You're not going to come back in an hour and keep working. You're done for the day. leak. You make sure that you clean it, and then you wait for it to leak. So then, if you've done this, you waited until tomorrow, it's dry, you turn it back on. One of the keys, some keys, might be sticky. They don't come up low, but they don't go down. So you might need to do what I did. You pop out the key, and you clean the whole mechanism. And if that doesn't work, then you may have to just buy a new key. So that's the keyboard. Next is cleaning your monitor. This, you've cleaned monitors before, yeah? No? You have a phone? Did you clean your phone? The screen? Yeah, so you clean the screen. Huh? Oh, inside? No, just the screen. We've all cleaned our phone screens, yeah? Okay. So we know how to clean a screen. Same idea. Whatever you would do, you make sure you don't scratch the screen. So use a wester that's not going to scratch. Preferably lint-free, so it doesn't leave things on the screen. Don't spray liquid. Well, it depends. If you have this old kind of monitor, these are very rare nowadays. Have you ever seen them? No. Okay, well, what about this? Nowadays, we almost only have the things like this, right? LED screen, LCD. But they used to be this big. And the front, which is not true with this, but the front of this is just glass, like window. So you use glass cleaner on glass. You could use a glass cleaner on this. You don't spray it on, but you spray it on your wester, and then you can wipe the screen with this. But you can't do that with these ones. You don't spray cleaner on this. This is not glass. This is a different material. Okay? So that's what I just said, basically. So you want to use a soft cloth, something that's not going to scratch, microfiber, soft cotton cloth. If the dry cloth is not enough to clean things get on the screen, thumbprints, then you can use treated alcohol, maybe spirits. Why do we use alcohol, by the way, instead of water? Say it again? It dries fast. And say it again? Bacteria. So alcohol itself, in a high concentration, so you have 70%, 90% alcohol, it will kill bacteria.
Definitely recommend that the computer does not attack by bacteria.
True. Bacteria the computer doesn't get sick from bacteria the way we do. So why do we care about bacteria in computers? They cause what? Rusting. Bacteria themselves will not cause rusting. Rusting is just water and iron. What you need is humidity in the air. But bacteria, the reason we care about bacteria in computers is the same reason we care about bacteria anyway, because it will make me sick. It's not that the bacteria makes the computer sick, it's that I use the computer and I will get sick. Also, if depending on the kind of bacteria, if it grows a lot, then it might, the bacteria are also water. Just like our cells are filled with water, bacteria are filled with water. So they also conduct electricity. So if you get enough of them, they could damage the computer. It would take a while. Okay. So this was for LED demonitoring screens. We don't spray anything on the screen. We can spray it on the web and then light the screen. The CRT monitor, which is these ones. Does anybody happen to know why we call this CRT and why that is LCD? Does that matter? Doesn't matter. This is liquid crystal display, LCD. Liquid crystal. This is called CRT. Anybody know what this is? It's a cathode ray tube. Cathode ray tube. And then LED. Anybody know LED? Hassan said, you know? It's not LED. You know LED? No? Anyone? Yeah. Light emitting diode. So the CRT monitor is the one with the glass screen. So those are older monitors. Again, this one you can clean with ordinary glass cleaner. So what I just explained. As always, unplug it first. Make sure the cloth won't scratch the glass. And make sure that if you do use glass cleaner or water or something, make sure it doesn't get into the monitor. You can flow here, the glass goes into the plastic, and make sure the liquid doesn't go down into the you could vacuum the outside, and you will notice that even monitors have openings on the back. See this? You can see through here. This is open. So there's also some cooling, some airflow in the monitor. You also want to make sure that's safe. This one's also a bit dusty, so we could actually clean it. Anything more to see here? No. I think we've covered this already. Yeah. Motherboard cleaning. Do we clean motherboards?
Yes.
But very carefully. Right? So motherboards can get dirty. We saw an example before. You can get a motherboard like this. So then we want to clean it. So again, you want to take precautions. So one precaution is what I said. Touch the metal case first before you go touching the motherboard. Try to avoid unplugging any of the cables or changing any little switches and so on. So be careful. And the general recommendation, almost the only way to safely clean a motherboard is with compressor. You don't want to go in with a cloth. You don't want to use liquid. So, I mean, you could use like a toothbrush maybe for some parts. But mostly use compressor. I found that picture, but I wouldn't. I will say, okay. Sorry. So here is using, can you see what this is? What they're holding? It's a paintbrush. Now, I'm not sure what they're touching there. I probably wouldn't do this. Where you could use a brush, for example, toothbrush or paintbrush, is the heat sink. Just the metal plate poking up, they need to release heat. And if they're covered in dust, they're not going to conduct heat very well. So one of the things you do when you're cleaning is this part you could clean, maybe with a toothbrush or any kind of brush. They're very close together, the plates. It's not easy to get a cloth in there. So either compressed air or a brush could be useful for just the metal plate, just the heat sink. So don't go touching the motherboard itself, just the parts that are sticking up out of the Right. I wish I had a can of compressed air. So compressed air is actually liquid. Right? It's air that's under so much pressure that it's liquid. When you press the button, it comes out. The pressure is released, it becomes gas. But it's actually liquid. And if you hold it upside down, then the liquid, when you have it this way, the liquid is at the bottom, the gas is at the top. So if I press the trigger, then the air comes out. But if I turn it upside down and I hold the trigger, actually some liquid air will come out. And we don't want liquid. So hold the can straight or maybe sideways, but not upside down. Obviously, you want to blow in a way that you're not blowing things farther into the machine, but out of it. This suggests you could use a portable vacuum carefully, I guess. I'm not sure that I would do it, but you do. Again, with much of this advice, you might do it and it might work. It might be okay, but there's more risk. So the advice is to use things that have less risk. And yes, you can use a portable battery-powered vacuum, but there's more risk than using a brush. But in any case, for the motherboard, as we said, when you're inside the case, you want to avoid using the electric, and both electric, the vacuum that you plug in the wall. And if you are using a vacuum, don't go touching the motherboard, but just above it. So you grab some of the bigger things, but not right on the motherboard. So we talked about heat sinks, the fan. Just look around and clean whatever looks like it needs to be. I think this is the last thing. Yeah, there's just 2 more slides. So there are 2 kinds of mice. This is one kind of mouse. I have 2 examples. This is called an optical mouse. Right? Optical. The reason they're called optical is you see this thing under? It's a little laser. Or either a laser or an LED. So it shines this light down on the surface, and then it sees, when you move, it can see how the surface is moving, and so it knows the mouse is moving, and it tells the computer moving. Before we had this is the newer kind. Both of these are newer. One is wireless and one is wired. But before we had optical mice, what we had were called mechanical mice. And they had a ball underneath, actual little rubber ball, about this big. It's pretty stylish. Like the egg yolk. You know when you cook an egg, you You boil an egg, the yellow, it's about that size. So it's a rubber ball about that size. And it rolls around. You hold it in the mouth, and when you push the ball rolls. And the whole mouse, it has these little rollers on the side, and depending on how much they spin, it knows how far you have moved. And then it can figure out where the mouse is. And what often happens, the reason we love this, you're very lucky that you have these mice nowadays, is that as this is rolling around, it's a rubber ball, right?
Yeah.
And your surface is not perfectly clean, your table or your. So it rolls around and it's picking up whatever's on the surface. Hair. So I remember doing this. I took the mouse, we opened it. They were easy to open. You would open it, and then you would see here there'd be all this stuff on the rollers. Little bits of things, and they were getting quite thick. And you had to sit there and kind of scratch it off until it was smooth again, so that the mouse would work. Because what would happen is you'd be moving the mouse on the table, and on the screen you would see it would stop and then and it would stop. And there you go. So if you have this kind of mouse, you actually open it, and you actually clean those things. Now, there's no circuit, there's obviously circuit around, but the rollers themselves are just mechanical. So you can use, if you need to, floss and clean those. But for a laser mouse, or optical mouse, this kind, there's not much cleaning. Sometimes you just take a lint-free cloth, just wipe the little window there. Or you can use compressed air. I've never done that. Last thing, if you ever find a mouse like this, we don't open it this way. This is to show you what it's like inside. But the way you actually open it, you see the circular cover, it rotates. So you put your fingers in here and you push, and it will come off. And the ball, I think it comes out. But anyway, from here you can see the ball, you can see these things from the back. And you can clean them, and then you put the ball back, and then you screw it back. Alright. Listen to our friend's question. We just have a few more minutes. Everyone?
Now, in our days, wood and hammer. How does it work?
How does?
Before, those mouths, the mouth that were used by the ball. I'm saying, before that mouth, the new mouth that you're using.
Before this one?
Yes. Yeah, we had to know. And those mouths use that to get the function. And those ones they use to optical. Then I'm asking, what about the air mouse?
The air mouse?
Yes.
What is an air mouse?
Air mouse is like, you don't want to start breathing, you have to breathe on the air.
Like a voice?
Air mouse.
This is an interesting question. It's not yet break time. So, you require your participation and attention.
I will bring it to the next class.
Bring it to the next class. Are you asking how to clean it or how it works?
How to do it.
how it works. I don't know. Guys, seriously. You shouldn't have to keep saying guys every 2 minutes. One way it might work is the same way that your phone knows which way it is. How does your phone know to light up the screen? If I have it down, it will or how does the phone know that you're like this or like this? Think about it. Huh? Kind of. But how does it testify? There's nothing that moves. Nothing moves inside the phone. So how does it know that it's like this and not like this? There's some special circuits inside that can tell what is the orientation of the phone. Which way is it facing? Like this, this. And then there's another one. How does it measure steps? This can measure your steps. How many steps I walked today? 10,000 steps. Right? Not GPS. GPS will give you your route. GPS doesn't measure your steps. Anybody know? How does the phone measure your steps? You want to trick your phone into thinking you did more steps? So there's a part inside called an accelerometer. And it measures, has the phone accelerated or decelerated? And what it's measuring is when you walk, you do a bit of this. It's not a smooth, right? There's a bit of a, and that's what it's measuring. That's how it can count steps. So I'm guessing something like that is what's used in an airplane. Before you go, I'm about to let you go. I hope everybody signed the attendance sheet. One of them. If you haven't, please sign it. Second thing, have a look at the keyboard and the computer. If you have questions, I will be here. And otherwise, I don't know, it depends on the people. There are different kinds of people. Some of them will have this, some of them will have a different. You can clean the outside of it, but not by pouring it. Put it on the website. A little bit. Something for it. Put it on the wall. When you're eating, then whatever the texture It has to be a very dirty keyboard. I mean, I don't think most people that's true, but some people the course that we teach, we're more than halfway through the semester. And, I don't know what so there's a course, a foundational studies that offers certain courses that everybody takes. But it's the kind of course that you have to be there in person. So because it's so late in the semester, you can take it the next time in the course. I'm saying we're so far into the semester that even those who have missed a lot, next time it's up, you can do it. So I wouldn't put him in a group now because he's missed too much. So the next time we offer it, still move it. So you focus on your other goal. Already you have to catch up a lot. So you have enough to do, just focus on that. Have you oriented him to